BLUELOCK Chapter 303 has just released. We got more information on the U20 World Cup, the new Generation 11, Ego standing on business, as well as big updates on the eliminated Nagi seishirou. This chapter has genuinely brought so many new things to the table, which got everyone excited, so let's jump into it quick. Chapter opens up with a Barou mention, and now I know this is the last person people want to see, as Kaneshiro has done a good job at making us hate this guy. However, with him getting a volume cover and his talk with Ray Dark previously, you already know we're gonna get some big information if he is here, and throughout this chapter, we 100% see that. We see him talking about the economy and the effect BLUELOCK has, with Isagi and Kaiser having thousands of tweets. And this man is rejoicing because he legit hits a knee slide in a conference room. He really hit Isagi's goal celebration, talking about how they brought in its 78 billion yen, which is 500 million in US dollars thanks to the NEL and BLUELOCK TV. They also sold out all of the registered player merchandise. And am I hearing that right? They sold out everyone, even Fukaku Gen? I'm not sure if a registered player just means the popular players like Kaiser and Isagi, but if it does mean every single player, who bought Kyorajin merch or Fukaku Gen merch? Anyways, it continues on with him saying that PFIA connections are solid, and in the end, the excellent ones get rich. He even hitting some emotes in these panels. He calls up Ego though, and per usual, he tells him to make it quick. His time is precious. He gotta get cooking with that U20 squad. And Barou actually says he acknowledges Ego's achievements and he brought profits to the JFU. But you know, when a character like Barou starts singing in the praises like this, he wants something else, and that's exactly what we get because he asks Ego why Nagi got dropped. He even pulls out the whiteboard and chart saying that it's Nagi seishirou, a popular player, in which Ego says that those were the rules and it's over. So now we got Barou advocating for Nagi seishirou, and on the other side, Ego still standing firm on his elimination, saying that it's all over. But Barou tells him that social media is going nuts with people saying seishirou is amazing and that Ego is the worst. Guys, canonically, Nagi Glazers have made it into BLUELOCK, because this is all I heard when he actually got eliminated. It was the same thing of how Nagi is good, Ego is bad for talking to a team like that. I know some of you Nagi fans watching this are smiling right now because I know y'all said the exact same thing about Nagi and Ego. Anyway, Barou is of course focusing on the profits, how Nagi is a popular player, so he's a cash cow. He'll be bringing in the money, but Ego doubles down and says no way, and that he is here to make Japan win the World Cup. He adds on that he is the god of this project, and this is well-deserved self-glaze. He knows he's the one that really got them this far. However, the chapter jumps over to Henri, who is basically recapping BLUELOCK to a whole room full of cameras and reporters, talking about how each selection had narrowed them down to 23 players. And now the next phase of BLUELOCK is the U20 World Cup, with the host country being in Japan. We see Aiku, Rin, Isagi, and Sendo alongside Henri as well. This makes the most sense. They are the most marketable players. You got 2 players from BLUELOCK and 2 players from the old U20 squad. I'm just glad they ain't got Shido on the mic, because we can take some calculated guesses on what he would say, and that would not make BLUELOCK look good. He finishes off saying how 64 countries will be participating, and we get a huge double spread panel of the U20 World Cup, and probably the most important countries. Now, we got a lot to break down here. Henri dialogues talking about Brazil, Germany, France, England, Spain, and Italy, saying that the new generation from around the world has gathered. Additionally, Kaiser is shown here, as well as Julian Loki, who is now confirmed to play in the U20 World Cup. Oh nah, it's time to pack our bags, because you're telling me we gonna have to play a full match against a try-harding Loki with Charles? Boy oh boy, I am excited to see that. In before Loki no-diffs a random country to hype him up, I'm calling it here. But an even bigger revelation on this panel are the 11 flags, as well as the new generation of World 11 here too. The 11 flags are probably representative of the new Gen 11's home countries. It makes sense with Germany, Italy, and Japan here, and we have Kaiser, Lorenzo, and Sai. It's not 100% confirmed, and the silhouettes are just all the same poses. This did not help at all. The other countries that didn't get mentioned though that appear on this panel are Egypt, Morocco, Mexico, Japan obviously, the United States, and China. It's heavily implied that there is one new Gen 11 per country for 11 countries, so it looks like these countries will be the biggest threats during the World Cup. It's also very confusing whether Loki is the new Gen 11 for France. He's been on an entirely different tier compared to the ones we have seen so far, so it might be someone else. But him being here mentioned on a page about the new Gen 11, we could put 2 and 2 together and say he is. It just doesn't really make sense because they haven't mentioned him being a new gen once in the series. That was a really big reveal though. Henri says that the Blue Lock Japan will challenge these powerful new opponents with the only goal being victory. We jump back over to Baratsuta, who got hard rage baited by Ego saying that he's the god of the project. Now Baratsuta is saying that he's god. Man, what is this guy even talking about anymore? He really just yapping now, talking about how he convinced the PIFA to make Japan the host country and that he's the one that supported Japanese soccer all this time. Bro literally almost shut down Blue Lock and now he's trying to take all the credit, saying that Ego is just a dreamer hired by God. Kaneshiro really knows how to make you hate this guy, like I said at the start. However, we were right about one thing. His conversation with Ray Dark was to have Japan host the World Cup. I've mentioned this before, so we got it right on the dot, y'all. Anyways, he dialogues and tells Ego that this is in order to bring back Nagi seishirou. Immediately with the sentence, I know there are two sides here. You got the people who, even though they don't like Baratsuta, want Nagi back so they'll side with him. And the other side with Ego, we ain't bending the rules for someone who just wants to make money and doesn't care about the U20 World Cup. It also takes out the integrity part because the top 23 all worked for their spots. So imagine if someone like Nanase just got removed for Nagi because he's more popular. I get that Nagi might be better than Nanase, but you're removing the whole integrity part. But this man Ego stands on business and said then he'll just quit, which has Baratsuta bamboozled. Ego is following the plan to make a Japanese team win the World Cup, and since he can only pick 23 players, for him, he isn't picking a Nagi seishirou. So it looks like Ego is fully anti-Nagi comeback, which makes sense with everything we said earlier. Although I wouldn't care if Nagi actually came back, it's probably better for him to stay eliminated for now. Anyways, it's a lot of jumping back and forth. We get back to that conference with Henri and the others who just have questions about the U20 World Cup. They mention potential matchups like Loki versus Rin, Kaiser versus Isagi, even getting a Lorenzo and New Gen 11 mention. I'm not gonna lie, Loki versus Rin is about to be the most one-sided fight, and I'm a Rin fan saying this. And we just get more Henri crumbs. I know we barely see her, so I know half the comments are about to be about her. She responds by saying that the U20 World Cup is a junior version of the real thing, but thanks to the NEL and Blue Lock TV, it's expected to be on the level of the real World Cup. The next page, we see Sendo and Isagi, and I'm sorry, Sendo just has me dead here wiping his nose. What the hell is this aw shucks type of pose? This guy really think he Ash Ketchum, like he responsible for the success of the U20 World Cup and Blue Lock? Nah, that's actually too funny. Henri talks about how Japan winning the World Cup is no longer just a dream and that they are entering an era where dreams become reality. One last time, we hop over to Baratsuta, who tells Ego he's stepping out of line and that if he can't win the U20 World Cup, he's fired. Shiver me timbers, bro. Baratsuta really think he tough. This is probably the least threatening guy here, but Ego just responds by saying that he will win, and that is my goat, man. He tells Baratsuta that he'll turn Japan the hottest place in the football world, in which Baratsuta says he'll turn that into the world's biggest business content. Man, who invited this guy? I can't wait for the day this guy leaves and we get a full-on Norman Osborn crash out getting kicked from the company. Lastly, Isagi gets a few more words in saying that we, Blue Lock, will win, and that I, Isagi Yoichi, will take the U20 World Cup and make it the hottest place in football, as we get a beautiful double spread. Y'all, the reporters are eating this up, and so are we. This reminding me of the same thing he said at the end of the U20 game, and I know people are gonna be crying seeing this, because as the chapter wraps up, we get one last update on Nagi seishirou, where he is sitting in an arcade playing by himself. The screen says to continue, with him having no emotions in his eyes. Alright, so what an absolutely jam-packed chapter filled with content. Start to finish, we had so many things, from the new Gen 11, and Nagi comeback mentions, World Cup info, and Isagi aura farming per usual. I know we talked a lot about the new Gen 11 and the countries earlier, but one huge player or mention munchen is missing, Itoshi Sai is absolutely nowhere to be found. And with Ego solidifying his point of only choosing the top 23 players, that might just be confirming that Sai isn't playing for Japan. He is a huge player and a huge character, so I don't think Kaneshiro just forgot about him. I just think it's kind of odd that they talked about new Gen 11s with 11 flags and Sai won't even be playing for Japan. So Itoshi Sai is still a big mystery. Anyways, we can be pretty confident that the new Gen 11s will be coming from these countries in this chapter. The fact that there were perfectly 11 flags there makes a lot of sense. So I'm super excited to see these new players. There is 47 days till the World Cup starts, so we'll 100% see some of these new characters before the U20 World Cup just to develop and set them up as rivals. It also looks like Nagi is still going to be relevant somehow in the story. We see Baratsuta wants to bring him in. He's still being shown in these chapters. The last panel was literally a continue screen. I do think it's best for him not to return so quickly, otherwise the elimination would kind of feel redundant, but I don't mind getting updates on him. He is a main character. Anyways, this chapter got me super excited for the U20 World Cup. It really is an amazing time to be a Blue Lock fan because these chapters keep on hitting. Make sure to comment below your thoughts on this chapter, about the new Gen 11s. Do you think Nagi will come back? Is Itoshi Sai playing? Any predictions? All of that stuff. And if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.